Alright, hi. I'm Adam Woodrum, and I'm the president of the Pokemon Islander League here on campus.
And I'm Matthew Sedler, and I am the UCSL representative for the Pokemon Islander League on campus.
Okay, and I'm Dallas Purcell. Conducting this interview. Now, I'd like to direct the first question towards Matthew. What would you say is your most defining moment in the Pokemon community?
Most defining moment in the Pokemon community. So, I don't know, I suppose like the day that I got into Pokemon, probably like the day that I joined the Pokemon community. I was given a excuse me gaming system when I was 8 years old, and along with it, my mom gave me a Pokemon, cartridge, and I played the game and I really liked it. And it was really cool, and I played for a while, quit, and then started again in the new generations, and I really liked it. So I think that probably must have been a funny moment is actually getting into the Pokemon community and enjoying the game.
All right, Adam.
Mine's typically about the same story. I started out as a kid having a birthday party. Got a Game Boy Pocket for my birthday. And then I got red version with it, and then I started from red version, and I played all the Pokemon games until Game Boy Advance, and then I was on a little break through the DS, and then I picked it up and at X and Y and got back into it, and playing the card game also. Yeah, it's just fun.
Okay, a follow-up question. What would you say would be an impact that Pokemon has had on your life specifically?
Well, Pokemon actually taught me a lot about strategy and teamwork and generally being a person with a good heart. It taught me to take care of something, even though it was digital and not really tangible. I still felt like I had a responsibility to take care of and raise these creatures, Pokemon. It gave me a good sense of responsibility and teamwork and strategy. And I feel like it's really beneficial to children to utilize those skills at a young age through something that's really fun like Pokemon.
Adam, you?
What was the question again?
The question was, what would you say Pokemon has had an impact on your life?
Impact on my life. Well, when I was a kid, when I started playing Pokemon, I didn't really know what I was doing. And
most of us didn't.
Yeah, it took years until I finally got the grasp of what Pokemon and how complicated and what you can do in it. Like, you could do so much things in it now than you could back then, but there was like every different nature has a different thing to a Pokemon. They have different stats. You can breed them, and it just gets really complicated, and knowing that now has actually made me think about the world also. Like, it's helped with my critical thinking and brainstorming and stuff and getting a grasp on reality and stuff.
Very good points, very good points. On a bit of a heavier note, though, some scholarly articles have actually stated that Pokemon has not just revolutionized the gaming industry, but also economics by having the value of, for instance, say, a Charizard card back when you were 8 years old. That was worth what, a whole pack of gum, or $5 or whatever money you had, or say an extra carton of milk. So so this article actually described of how children at such a young age actually marketed and set currency for something that they had complete control over. It was a closed market. It was quite interesting. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, when I was really young, obviously I had no idea what the economy was or anything. I had no idea about the economy. And I mean, I never really actually played the trading card game, but I did collect them because I thought they were neat. But I think for children to be utilizing like market systems for something as simple as a card game, I feel like is really profound. and they obviously don't know they're doing it. At least not back whenever I was younger, and for that to be happening, and them to be utilizing market systems and creating a currency like you said, in this closed market, I think is really profound and really interesting. And I think it's kind of a message that we should give to the rest of the economy today. Make buy the things that you like, and don't buy the things you don't like. Save money.
Any thoughts on the subject? No.
Yeah. See, I still have all my old cards that I first collected and everything. I don't. I guess when I was a kid, I used to trade them all, and I kind of lost some of the old ones that are kind of considered rare now. So I didn't know when I was a kid, when I was trading them, that they'd be kind of like popular now. So, but mostly like the rarity and the pricing and how economics change, it just depends on how rare the card is, what the condition is, and how many people are looking for it. That determines the price. Like you mentioned the Charizard card. Like if it's mint condition, everything, that's going for about $70, just because so many people like Charizard. It's really rare to find. They don't make it anymore, and it's practically mint condition.
Very insightful points. Thank you. But let's get something to what's truly underlying Pokemon. It's not friendship. It's not learning. It's truly math. And the thing about Pokemon that makes it really complex and interesting is it makes complex math so entertaining and approachable to so many people. For instance, steel types. How many resistances do steel types have? What, 10 or 8?
Quite a bit.
There's
16 types, and they don't resist.
Resistant to poison, resistant flying, not very effective almost.
I would say of the 16 types that there are, steel types resist at least half of them.
Yes, and they only have a few weaknesses. They only have 3 weaknesses. But every single weakness is a 2 times effective of that move. Power, which can range from 10 base power all the way to 150, while a resistance can be from for single typing can be half that damage, while dual typing may either quadruple the damage of a base attack for super effective, or it would actually cut the damage by into 1/4, and that is quite interesting. Do you have any thoughts on how certain math equations in the Pokemon game have just kind of slipped under the radar to be something that you just kind of think of as normal and not that hard, but really are? Can you list some examples?
Well, up until very recently, I had no idea the kinds of math that were involved in all the calculations that go into determining things for Pokemon. Whenever I'm battling and I select a move, I do take into account, the damage it's going to do, the type effectiveness, type matchup, all those types of things. Stab, which is same type attack bonus. There's all these things that I just take into account, without thinking. It's like a second nature. And until recently, I had no idea that all of those fit into a very large equation for particularly in that instance, battling or just doing damage. I know there's other equations, like for example when you're catching Pokemon, there's an equation for the capture rate, how you capture them, and the different types of Pokeballs that there are factor into that equation as well. Also, the health and status of the target Pokemon. So those are just a couple of examples of the equations I can think that I, just I guess not know. I mean, because the math is very complicated, but I can definitely see myself using some form of them, or at least grazing over them each time I look at that and say, okay, well, I know that if I use this ball, it's just this X amount of effectiveness versus this other ball, and I know it adds this amount of chance to be caught if it has a paralysis or poison or sleep status effect, and this also increase in percentage of capture if it's below this amount of health. So, all of those different things are things that I just, in general, no, you're fine. All those things, just in general, are things that I just happen to graze over or just, um, like arbitrarily think about without actually having to delve in and actually do all the calculations. And I think that's really amazing that it's kind of like a second nature to be able to just utilize those math equations without actually having to think about them.
Sorry to cut you off, but it's a funny thing you mentioned nature. And Adam, can you explain actually what natures are and how they factor into the game?
Natures are practically the personality of a Pokemon. Like each Pokemon has a certain nature. Each nature can boost its stats. Like there's adamant, jolly, there's naive, there's quirky, and every single one raises a stat or lowers one of their stats in battle. Or if there's some natures that just neutralize their stats. There's like no stat changes. So nature plays a big part in breeding and in competition.
Can you actually go into depth of what it takes to have a competitive battling team? For instance, breeding specifically.
It's a lot of breeding. You have to know your Pokemon types, what's weak against what. You have to get the right nature that you want to practically, if you want to outspeed another Pokemon, you want to have the most attack, most defense, be a wall, and then you have to put them in a daycare in the game and just breed until you get a good IV Pokemon. And IVs are practically, they give them the max stats.
And I believe IV stands for inherent values, correct?
Yes. And then once you get a perfect IV Pokemon, you have to EV train it. And that's practically training their certain stats even more. So, and you do that, and then blah, blah, blah. Perfect team.
It's like, in my opinion, breeding is just like dog breeding. Like, you get all the best qualities of a specific dog, all the best qualities in there, and then you train that dog to hone those abilities that it has inherently at birth. For example, golden retrievers are really good tracking dogs, and so
hence the name, of course.
Yeah. So they're really good at retrieving things. So if say we're going to breed a greyhound, which is a very fast dog, you could breed a greyhound with a golden retriever, and your hybrid dog would get very high speed and very good ability to track, and or the strength for retrieving, whatever it may be. And then you would take that awesome hybrid that has the good speed and the good strength, and then you would hone those skills. You would exercise it. You would teach it how to retrieve and come back. And you would train all those stats up till you have basically the perfect dog that can hit really hard or retrieve very, very quickly. And ultimately, that's what it's like for breeding Pokemon. And so you have 6 of those to create a team, and you can go into a Pokemon competition and just, win.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Thank you for your time, and I'll get this up quickly.